Hey, what's up, guys? I didn't know you're coming over, but let's sit down and talk for a while. Sounds good to me. YouTube, all you YouTube people, talking about survival. Dan the Man, second video. Been watching a lot of survival videos. Consider myself a survivor, but seems like everybody talks about kind of narrow plans on what they're going to do. Just, and everyone knows the essentials you're going to need, and you do need them. You need your water, maybe a filter, a way to filter your water, shelter, heat, cool, food, defense of some type. I mean, those are the standard things you need: your water, your food, your shelter, and if you don't have it, a way to acquire it. We all know that. Communication is another one, but we all know that. So I keep watching these, and people keep going over, yeah, store your oats over there, and you put some rice over there, and some beans right over there. And I got that, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you got that too. You need your food and your essentials. But after that comes the real survival part, which is a lot of it's up here. Mentally, what are you going to do? And mentally, how are you prepared? I'm ex-military, and I've seen guys that were, in the gym every day and could run 20 miles. And when we had a couple times and the shit did hit the fan, not all of them, but some of those guys were diving for cover and others weren't. It's just what their mental makeup was and how they were going to react. So I guess what I'm saying is your survival plan should be catered to you. And I see all these videos on bug out, and that's fine. If that's what you're going to do and that's your plan and you're prepared to do it, that's fine. And that's what I call the Navy SEAL approach. I mean, bang, something goes wrong, and grab my pack and my gun and my water, and off I go. But I can tell you just from my experience that it's much more difficult to survive when you're out on your own, moving to a location you might not be familiar with. Number one, you never know what you're going to run into, what situations. But for me, you either are going to do that Navy SEAL bug out, go, or you're going to do the slippery eel. You're going to adapt and you're going to move and kind of try to slither your way out of situations. And for me, that means probably I'm going to stay and defend. For me, and not probably, that's my first plan. I'm going to stay and defend. So this is my home. I've got, the essentials. I've got, plenty of weapons. I know how to use them. But more than that, for me to stay and defend, there's a little bit more involved in that, So I have several things I know that I'm going to do. Now, I don't know where you live, but I'm going to defend this space that I have. And by defend it, what I mean is, I'm going to secure my house. I'm going to make sure that, all my windows and doors are covered, at least to where I can, I know if someone's coming, I know where they're at, and I know how to defend against it. So, I personally, this isn't my house. At first I had my plan up, and I know you can't really see it, but, I think the bad idea to show some of you clowns where I live or where my windows are, because you might be coming through them if I do that. But it shows me all the windows, the walls. I know every corner, and that's what you need to know. Where you're going to be, you need to defend that area. and if the zombies come, you have a better chance of stopping them. And what better person to defend an area than a person that lives there and knows it? And that's why I feel like in Afghanistan and other parts of the world we're fighting, and even in Vietnam, we were on the offensive, walking into these guys' backyards, and they knew every cave and every crack and every crevice. And it's really difficult to take someone on that knows, where you're coming from and knows where he needs to move. And that's where I am right now. So, if at all possible, my plan to survive is first going to be to stay and defend this. I got 2 kids. I mean, you think they're going to throw a rucksack on and eat rattlesnake? Well, if we have to, we will. But that's not realistic for right now. Also, what's realistic for me in my surroundings? Now, I watched the guy's from Washington, and he's got all the water he could want. Shit, he can go fish for salmon, and that's great for him. And he's saying, here's what you need. Well, I live in the middle of the desert, man. And I mean, if you looked out my window right now, you would know it because it's pouring rain. But what good is a salmon rig going to do me? Now, I got a bass rig and a trout rig for the streams I might encounter. But, you know, what he needs is not at all what I'm going to need. So I'm adapting to what I'm going to need in my area and where I'm planning to go if I do have to leave. So, but my first option, I'm staying here. I'm going to secure my home, go through the plans with my son that also I consider a weapons expert as well. And, you know, then we'll set up for our ultimate comfort while we're here. You know, if that means that power's out, heat's out, get my fireplace going. That's not enough. I got a propane heater that'll help me. I got a propane stove, you know, if my stove isn't going. So there's backup plans for the backups and for me to be comfortable and have a quality of life while I'm surviving here. Because realistically, in my opinion, you have to prepare for the most likely thing that'll happen, and then be prepared for the worst case scenario. But in reality, I believe what's more likely to happen here is maybe an earthquake. Actually, I think this place is ripe for an attack from terrorists. I live outside of Las Vegas. What do they hate? You know, women showing even an ankle. They hate it. You know, people using alcohol. It's illegal in their countries. You know, gambling. You know, fornicating. Women walking down the street with someone other than a family member or their husband. I mean, women being educated. These guys that hate us, man, this city I live in, that's it. That's, if you wanted to hit a bunch of sinners in their minds, what are sinners? Las Vegas. Take out one building, you got a whole bunch of sinners. All those guys on Wall Street were doing, they were at work. I mean, a lot of them were innocent bystanders, but oh, these guys in Vegas, they're gambling and prostitution and drinking and infidels, you know? So this city's ripe for a terrorist attack. Now, they hit a building, I'm 20 miles from the strip, so yeah, you know, the plane's not going to hit me, but I know what happens afterwards because I've been through some disasters. What happens afterwards is people freak out. And the ones who aren't prepared, which is going to be 99% of the people you know, 99%. I mean, I don't know if that's the true number. That's what I think. They're going to run. They need water. We need food. Let's get gas. And if you don't have that stuff, you're going to either have to fight for it with them by waiting in line for days. I've been through it. Or you already got some. And then that part of it's over. And again, it comes right back to this, because if you don't have all of this stuff that I have, then this goes bad in here, because now you got something to worry about. Okay, when you don't have to worry about purifying water, I got 110 gallons downstairs, filter, pump. Okay, I got oats, I got rice, I got a way to cook it. I've got, you know, if you don't have that, those are the essentials of living. Right up here. That's all you're going to be able to think about. Instead of that, I'm going to be thinking about what I need to do. I'm going to be observing what's going on around me, making my family safe. And then there may come a time while I'm defending my home where I need to bug out. And if I do, there's a big bag, family of 4, big bag. That's a big bag, but it's got what I need in it. And if I got to go, I can go. I don't want to go. I'm going to stay here first. But if I got to go, I'm prepared to go. And I have a plan to go. And that's the main thing, is being prepared. And bring up the military manual for survival. One of the first things it'll tell you is preparing for this, preparing for that. And these people who at work yesterday, they're kind of making fun of me and I'm an extremist and all this. I lived through a hurricane in Kauai, one of the friendliest places you could be. And it is. Hawaii it's a paradise, man. Everyone's happy. Sun shining every day, okay? That hurricane hit us, Iniki, destroyed the whole island. Okay, the people who didn't give a shit left as soon as they could. Now, it took a week or so for them to get out of there. Okay, but the rest of us that were left there, that cared, that lived there, you know, it didn't take long before I realized I didn't have enough water. I couldn't flush my toilets. My neighbors, some of them didn't have any. Most of them had electric appliances. My entire house was gas, so everyone could cook at my house. You know, and so, you know, I've been through that. I've seen the stores empty out in 2 days, and I didn't have big buckets of water. Luckily, there were streams I could 4-wheel drive to, and I did that. And a lot of my neighbors didn't have trucks. I had to help them, and we'll get to that too, where, you know, part of defending my home is I know my home. I also know my neighborhood around me. I know quite a few of my neighbors. And I would say I know a few of them well enough where when something bad happens, I'm going over there. I'm going to see if they're okay. Now, I'm not here to keep, I tell all my friends, they say, oh, I'm coming to your house. You got all the guns. Well, don't come to my house. You come to my house wanting something. You're just like everybody else. And there's millions of people who won't have. And before you get any of it, my family needs to survive. So don't come to my house. Instead of that, let me show you what you need. Here, I'll go get you a barrel. Here's some water that you can put in your garage. All right? Here's a $5 bag of rice that'll last you a month. Here's some beans that'll keep for years. So I am going to go out and see my neighbors, make sure that they're okay and we can work together, because there is safety in numbers. Maybe it's not a zombie apocalypse. Maybe it's an earthquake. And maybe I got a bunch of ammo over there. I got thousands of rounds right there. And he doesn't, but I want this. He's got this and I don't have it. I barter everything. So I would strike out once things have settled a little bit, having first secured my home, and go and see the neighbors that I know, and then also work out a plan depending what's going on. I don't know, maybe the Iraqis are driving down the street, man, with RPGs. I don't know. And if they are, then we want to create some fields of fire. I mean, that's all there is to it. If it's just a water main break and none of us got water, and I know it's coming back, hey, I want to be the guy then who goes out and says, here, let me give you this gallon to get you through the day. Here you go. And here's one for you. Hey, I'm out of time on this first part. Go to part 2. Check out the rest. Or not. It's up to you.